Well, welcome everybody. This is Mark Comfort. My wife Mimi and I own Cruise Holidays of Kansas City for 32 years. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite ways to vacation, and that is river cruising with one of my very favorite companies that we've ever had the pleasure of doing business with, and that is AmaWaterways. And with me here today is Marcy New, our wonderful representative, who has been several times we call it our sales representative of the year. So we think the world of Marcy, and we love the partnership that we have had with Marcy and all the executives and great people, not only on the cruise ships, but in the headquarters of AmaWaterways out in California. And then Marcy, introduce our very special guest, which we will talk to here in just a little bit, but introduce Angie, please.
Hey, this is Angie Avalos. I'm so excited. She's definitely our special speaker today. Angie is from Transylvania, and she worked on board the ships as a purser for quite a long time. And then she moved to California and runs one of our divisions in California. So Angie, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to bringing this part of Europe closer to your hearts.
Well, I'll tell you what, you sure have the accent for that already. I can tell that you haven't lost it being in California. So this is so cool. I just wanted to share with everybody, this is such an exciting time for all of us because Europe is opening up for vacations. River cruising has already started over in Europe. And we see some very, very, very important things being done as far as decisions. And those decisions primarily are what the countries are doing and what the vacation vendors like AmaWaterways are doing to make sure that they keep all guests and all the crew safe. That's what everybody wants, right? And to do that, and by the way, what I'm ready to tell you is I think going to be accepted by the rest of the world very, very, very quickly. And that is if you're vaccinated, you can travel. And if you're vaccinated, countries of the world will accept Americans in to their countries. And if you're not, at least for a while, you'll probably not be going to a lot of the countries of the world. But we know these policies, and they're changing. Good golly, they're changing on seems like a daily basis, weekly basis. So it's really important time to use somebody to help you plan your vacation, especially your international vacation, that knows what's going on. More important now than ever before. So we love AmaWaterways. The one thing we know and we love about Ama is we trust them to do the right thing in all cases, and they will do the right thing in all cases. We've already seen that so many times in the past. And because of that, literally, I've opted to do a lot of hosting of groups next year. And I personally think, and by the way, this year too, and I think that there's these hosting people going with somebody maybe like myself that is understanding of the river cruise experience, that has the contacts, that knows what to do if there's a problem and an issue. I think that going with a host like myself is going to be very, very, very important and very popular next year. The other thing I know, and we're seeing it already, the bookings for river cruises and especially for AmaWaterways has been off the charts fantastic. And when you think about it, why? Well, number one, it's a smaller experience. And right now it's smaller than normal. Normally these ships are 164 passengers, give or take a little bit. The river cruise vessels I'm talking about. And now, at least in the Europe areas, in most cases, the European Union has said 100 passengers or less. 100 will be maximum that will be able to go on a ship. So there's more places or more space for social distancing. And I'm just very, very, very excited about what's happening right now in the world. I'm very excited about the pent-up demand that we all have. Right? We all want to go to Europe. I was just talking to Angie. She just got back from the Rhone River, and we're going to let her talk about that in a little bit. But real quick, let me just share with you just a couple things about these hosted trips I'm going to be doing next year. Matter of fact, not even next year. This year, in about 45 days from now, the last day of September, the 30th of September through October 7th, I'll be doing the Taste of Bordeaux, that one right there. And I'm so excited about that. We've got 52 people going with us. And And they're all excited about going. Questions? Yes, everybody has questions and concerns. And that's what we're here for, is to make you feel comfortable and to make sure your expectations are correct. Then in December, Marcy's going to go with us on this, and we're going to do a Christmas markets cruise on the Rhone River in southern France. What a beautiful area, from Lyon to Avignon. That's what Angie just got back from, and she's going to share a little bit with us about that. Then next June, I had a postponed Seine River cruise, which is Paris north up to Normandy. That one right there, June 16th through the 23rd. And oh my gosh, I got to tell you, I've done this one before. I know Marcy has too, Angie. Maybe you have too. But every person in the world, but especially Americans, should go to Normandy. I don't think, and I've been to almost all these American cemeteries around the world, and I don't think I've ever felt more patriotic than I did when I was in Normandy before the first time I was there. So this is literally 10 days after, I think it's the 78th anniversary of D-Day. So wow, what an experience. And then we're going to do in October the one, Transylvania one, where Angie's from. We're going to do a Budapest to Bucharest. They call it the Lower Danube, and I'm very excited about hosting that one. Again, that'll be in mid October, and then at the very end of that trip, if you want to, you could go to Transylvania with us. You can see nice people are from there, like Angie, and what a beautiful part of the world. I've heard so much from Angie and many others about how tremendously beautiful that part of Eastern Europe is. And then at about the same time, by the way, these are going to be back to back. I'm going to jump directly from Bucharest, and I'm going to fly to Lisbon, Portugal, and do a Douro River cruise on, I believe it's October 22nd, if I remember right, 2022. So we have a lot of options for you. That's what I want to share with you. So with that said, Marcy, do you want me to go ahead and talk about some of these experiences, and then you take over for the river cruising?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Well, again, you saw the Taste of Bordeaux, and that's in the western part of France. Some call it the northwestern part of France. Beautiful, beautiful area of the world. Every place that AmaWaterways goes, you will see the highlights. And those of us going in October are wine lovers specifically, but I know we're going to be just thrilled with the scenery too. Same way, yeah, there's the Bordeaux trip. Most of you, if you're into wine at all, you know some of the best wines in the world, rating wise, are from this area of France. And by the way, the other thing about this one, the 4 days before that, we will be going to Spain, 2 nights in Bilbao and 2 nights in San Sebastian, also through AmaWaterways as a pre-package, and then they will transfer us to the ship in Bordeaux. And I'm so excited about that. I love Spain. Gosh, I love all these countries, but I love that part of Spain. And I've not been to San Sebastian, and I'm so excited about that. I've been to Bilbao, and that Guggenheim Museum there is arguably one of the most spectacular museums. Most certainly architecturally, it's one of the most spectacular museums in the whole world. So we've got the Taste of Bordeaux there. And then the next one, Marcy, go ahead. We'll look at the Normandy one. I think I've talked about that. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, if we will. Next slide, please.
Well, yeah, we have a slide a little bit later on, right before Angie takes us on that journey.
What do you want to take over from here? Because I love, this is my favorite line in the world. And Marcy, you say it better than everybody. Go ahead and read that. I love this.
Okay, thanks. Oceans take you to countries and rivers take you through countries. The rivers of these countries are the vessels and veins of these cities, these villages, these beautiful destinations. And, you know, very different than the bigger ships. They take you on the outer skirts of a country. The rivers, Europe was established really along its river's edges because of the trading. And so we can literally go country to country in many of these situations, many of the different rivers, in 15 to 20 minutes, which what that does is gives us more time to allow you to immerse yourself with the local people, cultures, culinary experiences, and the beautiful sights around you. So we really feel like the rivers take you through those destinations. We are a family-owned business. Rudy Schreiner, our co-founder and president, is also known as the godfather of the rivers. He's the only river executive that was ever put into the Cruise Line International Hall of Fame. And we're very, very proud of Rudy. He brings very much to us. But one of the most important things is innovation and creativity. He builds our ships very different than anyone else's ships on any of the rivers, and we are more shallow at the draw than any other river line. And what that means to you as a guest is very important, because you know, we'd love to say that the rivers are always perfect water, but it's Mother Nature, so that doesn't always happen. But we have high water, low water, and of course, perfect water. So you can imagine the biggest challenge comes in when you don't have any water or low water situation. And in 2018, we had that situation on the Rhine and the Danube, first time in many, many years. And we were the only river line that had absolutely no cancellations, because our ships operated in 11 inches of water, if you can imagine. So we're very, very excited and very proud of what Rudy brings to us in making us very special in the marketplace. Then we have Christine Karst. She has a dual degree in tourism. She's from Dresden, Germany, and she is very, very involved in our experience on board with our guests, as well as our global partners. Oops, excuse me. And then I need to go back to my, sorry guys. I need to go back to, sorry. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then we go to the Murphy family, and the Murphy family owned Brenton Worldwide Tours, which was a tour company or tour operator that took everyone to Europe or into their home country of Ireland. So bringing to the table as well a great wealth of knowledge as to what people would like to do upon their arrival when they get into Europe. So then, now, if I haven't given you already enough reasons, and Mark hasn't, we're going to talk about why you want to cruise on AmaWaterways. So our personalized guided excursions, you have up to 6 per day. Very important, because not many other lines offer more than just 1 a day. We offer up to 6, and you can pick and choose. One of the most important things, I think, is that we want everyone to be included. So we have gentle walkers, regular walkers, and active walking tours. If you're in a city where maybe there's 5 things that we think are very important for you to see or visit, our gentle walkers might see 2. They will go at their own pace with their own private guides. Our regular walkers might see 3 or 4, and our active walkers would see all 5. But we never want someone to not get the full experience of the area, the region, the village that we're traveling, so they can go at their own pace. And then we have what we call our late risers. Our tours start at 9 o'clock. So I don't know about you, but I've never been around for the late riser tours, because I want to get up and see and do as much as I can when I'm on the river. But they do depart at 10 a.m. instead of 9, seeing just a few less things that the others would see. Christine is very passionate about health and wellness. This is a big part of many people's lives. It has always been, but especially since COVID, I think, where we all had just a little bit of time to maybe focus a little more on ourselves. And we do 5 classes a day, ranging from 30 to 45 minutes. It may include cardio, core stretching, yoga, a little bit of dancing, but they make it a lot of fun by adding some excitement to it with maybe a little champagne tasting in yoga, maybe a little chocolate tasting and some strength training. Everyone on board has really, really enjoyed this. We have more and more people that are doing this when they get on board, and we always want everyone to feel like a part of our family. So we want to bring to you on board the conveniences of the things that you have at home. We are one of the only river lines that belong to the La Chaîne Road du Sœur, which is a French culinary society. And we were inducted into this society in 2014. And let me tell you, all it means, you never have to remember that name. All it means is that you have 5-star dining at every meal. And I'm excited because when COVID actually played a role last year, our chief executive chef went in and redid and added on to our menus, creating some, I didn't think it could get any better, but evidently it has. Everyone coming home has said, oh my goodness, the dining experience you'll never forget. And that's very important about a vacation. And then also with our meals in the mornings, we have sparkling wine or champagne and fresh mimosas. At lunch, we have premium hand-selected wines by our owners, and then the same at dinner. And the beautiful part is everything that you're dining on board, it's a true culinary package or a culinary explosion. We do not have storage space on our ships, so everything is sourced fresh and sourced locally with our local growers, farmers, and markets. One of the other things very special about AMA is we have our own bakery on board. Several of the other lines do not, and their goods have to be delivered. Ours, we bake fresh on board every day. And I don't know about you guys, I'm so ready to get on board just for the food, but the breads that we have in the mornings, not unusual to have a selection of 9 different types. Absolutely a fabulous way to enjoy the rivers and the culinary experience. And please, if you do have a dietary restriction, let us know of that restriction ahead of time so we can make our chefs aware and we can prepare your menus a bit different to accommodate your restrictions. We have the chef's table. So we have a main dining room, of course, and then we have a specialty restaurant known as the chef's table. And it's from 28 to about 28 people, especially on the particular groups we're looking at. And this is a 9-course meal prepared a la minute or each plate at the moment. It is absolutely spectacular. It's about a 2.5-hour experience. It's in a separate dining room that is panoramic. So you're at the opposite end of the ship with these beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows. So you're getting the whole beauty of the river while you are tasting some of the finest foods you'll ever have. And this is beautiful because we're also talking to you about the menus and about the varieties and the regions that they come from. And then, of course, we're also pairing the wines. In this area, we also have a coffee cafe, which includes the cappuccinos, lattes, espressos, and the finest hot chocolate in the world because it's made with Swiss chocolate. In addition to that, we also have the international tea stations. And we also have that cafe in our main lounge area. So it's available to you 24 hours a day, all complimentary for our guests. And now that we've told you all about these wonderful things, I am going to turn it over to our amazing guest speaker, Angie. But before I do that, I want to remind you that this is next year. As Mark mentioned, it is on the Lower Danube. Mark, would you like to say something before we take them to these beautiful places?
Well, I just think I'm like you guys. I love to go to places I've never been. And it was actually many of the workers, servers on the Ama Magna when we were on the main Danube River a few years ago that got my wife Mimi and I very, very excited about going on this Gems of Southeastern Europe. And gosh, then the more I got to study in it, I understood why some of those Eastern European people were so excited about that destination, but that's also the destination that many of them come from. And if I could stop just a quick second and say, and I know Angie knows this, it is just fascinating how incredibly good the Eastern European staff is, all the staff, but primarily the Eastern European staff, which is most of the crew on board, how well they speak English. And most importantly, how attentive they are to detail when it comes to service. And I just have been blown away by the service we've received on AmaWaterways. And to that point, the service is one of the things that most everybody looks so very forward to. And I know We all do. We all do for that. The culinary is great. That's correct. It's fabulous. The wines are unbelievable, that sort of thing. But the service that you get from the time you get up in the morning to the time you come back is second to none. So with that, let's turn it over to Miss Transylvania herself.
Okay, great. Here we go.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to hear this, Mark. And we are all good ambassadors for our country, for our region. So we are very proud of this part of the world that we come from, even if it was closed from tourism for about 40 years. So things are a little bit off the beaten path here. What you see here is a map of this cruise. This cruise will start in Budapest and it will end in Giurgiu, Romania. So there is no better way to start a river cruise than with the fascinating city of Budapest that is really like an open fairy tale book. Every page is just so beautiful, architecturally perfect. And this is our ship coming on, this is Dürnstein, it's a little bit on the upper Danube, but I think the next picture will show you the city of Budapest. And after you start cruising through the through Hungary, once you start cruising through Hungary, you will continue with Serbia, Croatia, Bulgaria, and Romania. So quite a few countries, all with different currencies, different languages, and sometimes different religions. We are going basically from a lot of Roman past to the Ottoman Empire to the Bulgarian Empire, which seems to be the oldest empire in Europe, dated back in 800s. It was one of the largest empires, the Bulgarian one, and you know, many of us may have not heard about it. So it's really a lesson of history, a lesson of different cultures. And here you see the beautiful parliament building in Budapest. And we do a night cruise by this parliament building with Hungarian music on the top. And you will see some of the beautiful Hungarian blouses. This is a Romanian one, but all of our traditional blouses are along the river are very colorful, and they really depict the way people are in this region. After we leave Budapest, we will continue with the city of Pécs. Pécs was really the European capital of culture a few years ago. They've done a lot of work on the infrastructure. The city looks extremely beautiful. It's a very cultural city with concerts, with exhibitions, and it is a city that really represents what Eastern Europe is about. On the left side, you have a mosque. In the middle, you have the Catholic Church, and on the right, you have the synagogue. These three different religions are seen in each and every town along the river. And how beautiful it is that sometimes after a city tour, the guide gives you the option, would you like to go and visit one of these different religions in the towns? And you see the little lady that comes with a key and opens a Jewish cemetery just for you to go in and see and pay the respect. So it's really very interesting in this aspect. After we leave Pécs, we will continue to Croatia. So a different country all the way to Croatia. Back in time, this was the Austro-Hungarian, this was the alphabet, the Latin alphabet. And once you go into Serbia, you enter the Ottoman Empire back in time. So a total different history, and also the Cyrillic alphabet. So the cultures are quite different. The Eltz family is a family actually from Germany who has a beautiful castle on the Moselle River that we visit on the Rhine and Moselle Castle cruise. And they donated this part of their castle to Croatia. The Croatians created a very beautiful museum inside. You will see modern and as well as classical art pieces inside of these museums if you choose to visit Vukovar. In Vukovar, there is also a monument dedicated to the Serbian-Croatian War. We are talking about a war that was in the 1990s. So this country, when Yugoslavia separated, there were a lot of tensions between Serbia and Croatia. Thank goodness today the countries are friendly with each other and everything is peaceful in the region. Novisad is one of the most beautiful towns along the river. what I love about Novisad is a very spectacular bridge, a bridge that was bombarded actually in the Serbian war, and a bridge that was really rebuilt overnight by the Serbian people. And we are passing that bridge. It's the only bridge that opens and closes when our ship goes through.
Oh.
Yes, so that will be quite unique for you to see. We will continue then to the fortress of Petrovaradin, one of the most robust fortresses along the river. If the Rhine River is about the castle, I think that the lower Danube is more about the fortresses. So in this particular fortress, the former president of Yugoslavia was imprisoned in the bottom part of the fortress. So this is something that you will visit at nighttime. The castle is up, the fortress is lightened, so it's a beautiful view from the river, and we can walk there or we can go there by motor coach, depending on how we feel that evening. After we go to Novi Sad, we will continue with the capital of Serbia, the city of Belgrade, which is one of my most dear cities in Eastern Europe. It really has a special atmosphere, and here we will visit the royal family, the Karađorđević family, where we will meet the prince and the princess of Serbia, who are welcoming the AmaWaterways groups into their royal palace.
Wow.
We will also visit Tito's memorial. As I mentioned before, Tito used to be one of the liked dictators of the Eastern European countries. Somehow he kept Yugoslavia in its own communist path without having too much direct instructions from Moscow. That didn't happen in a country like Romania, where our dictator did everything that Moscow asked him to do. So this was a little bit of a softer communist path. My most favorite part of the city is Skadarlia. It is the most bohemian street that I found in Europe. It's a street with taverns, restaurants, with live music. You have mandolin players, you have men choir. At nighttime, it's really absolutely fantastic to be there, and maybe skip one dinner during the cruise. I always try to skip a dinner or a lunch, even if it's very hard, because our cuisine, as Marcy presented, is fantastic on board. However, once during the cruise, if you have the chance to be out, I would highly recommend to be on this particular street. You will see beautiful girls dressed in medieval outfits with beautiful umbrellas. They bring back a little bit the old times on this street. And what you can serve for dinner, there's some skinless sausages with different condiments. They're called cevapcici, and with a Serbian salad made with fresh cucumbers, tomatoes, dill, and feta cheese, you will really have a memorable dinner. And we will visit the street during the city tour as well, but at nighttime the atmosphere is fantastic. And then we will also visit the largest Orthodox church, the St. Sava in Serbia. The bells are heard from every corner of the city, and that is what I miss the most here in North America. I don't really hear the bells of the churches in California. And it's so fantastic, even on the Provence cruise that I just returned from, you know, to hear the bells at lunchtime. It's something quite spectacular. In Serbia, we will also see the beautiful traditional outfits. As I mentioned, they're very colorful. At the end of the cruise, you may not even distinct which ones will be from Bulgaria, Romania. They're quite colorful. They're quite floral motifs on the dresses and the tops. There are these specific leather shoes that we wear when we dance, and we have to wear wool socks in order to be able to wear this type of dancing shoes. And you will see quite some interesting folkloric performances on board. So that is also something that is very nice on an AmaWaterways cruise, when we bring the dancers, the musicians of the regions that we cruise through to entertain you after dinner. That will be a lot of fun. While we are cruising between Serbia and Romania before entering the beautiful Iron Gates, which is a very narrow passage with Serbia on one side of the river and Romania on the other side. The first stop that we have is Golubatch Fortress. It is a fortress where a princess of Bulgaria refused the love of an Ottoman king, and she decided to finish her life in the river instead of accepting his love. And this fortress is actually having ruins from Roman times, but it was fortificated in medieval times. We have a visit through it, and then we continue through the Iron Gates with breathtaking scenery. Everything is so green, so beautiful. And this is the statue of King Duchebalus here on the left. Our students from Romania are still continuing to carve in the rock. It's the largest carving in a rock in Europe. And they are sponsored by some Americans who, want them to be there every summer and continue with the carving. King Decebal is the king that was there for the Dacians when the Romans conquered Romania in 106 AD. And something else that is very interesting is that along the river you will see Tabula Traiana from Roman times, a gate of an old fortification. You will see Orthodox monasteries. But it's really a day of cruising that is extremely relaxing. We don't have a day of cruising on each and every AmaWaterways itinerary. And many of our guests say they truly, truly enjoy this relaxing day by the river through beautiful natural scenery. And we are also passing the only double lock in Europe. You go through two different chambers, through the Iron Gates 1 and Iron Gates 2 on the way to Romania.
Would you explain, Angie, I think so many people, or I used to, think that the Iron Gates were like gates. They were like iron gates. Explain how the Iron Gates got their name and what the difference is in that part of the river.
Sure. So the Iron Gates, even myself, I thought for many times that it's the name of the double lock, because that's the name we gave to the double lock, but it's actually coming from Roman times. The Romans tried to conquer Dacia multiple times. And the river here, it doesn't look that wide or dangerous, but it actually has a lot of hidden portions, a lot of currents that are really not favorable if you try to cross it. And many times they did not succeed to get into Dacia. So they call this region the Iron Gates because they could never pass through it. However, they were quite creative. They built a bridge, and through that bridge they could cross over and conquer Dacia. That was known for a lot of gold treasures in the mountains, in the Carpathian Mountains, and that was the reason why the Romans really wanted to go to this region and to have access to the Black Sea, that is part of the Romanian territory.
Right.
So that is also the journey of the river Danube. It starts in the Black Forest in Germany. It crosses a lot of European countries, and it flows into the Black Sea at the end, forming a beautiful natural delta with a fantastic wildlife, especially a lot of bird species in the Danube Delta. While we are cruising through this beautiful passage of the river, we are having a Balkan barbecue on the sun deck. Most of our chefs are from the Eastern European countries, and they are so proud to present their traditional dishes. The one on the right is my most favorite baked eggplant, and we also make an eggplant spread. They call it an eggplant caviar on board. So if you see it on board other AmaWaterways ships, now you know what it is, the eggplant caviar. It's absolutely delicious. And here you have the Romanian Michi, which are also skinless sausages. So we use different combination of meat, from lamb to pork and beef, and we obtain different flavors, and we barbecue these sausages, especially in summertime. They're some of our most traditional dishes. And after we go through the beautiful iron gates, we arrive in Bulgaria, in the city of Vidin. How spread out the city is, even if many of the buildings are more of the communist, Stalinist buildings with apartments on top of each other and more squarish. The city really developed in communist times, and there is a major yogurt factory. You know, the Bulgarians are known for their Bulgarian yogurt. And on the left, you see a beautiful medieval fortress that we will visit, the Babavida Fortress. And what is very special in this fortress is that we have a medieval show inside the fortress for our guests in medieval outfits, and very, very entertaining. Also, specific to Vidin is that we will go and visit the Bulgarian families. We take groups of 6 to 10 guests to the local families, where the ladies of the house will prepare banica, which is our traditional cheese pie. And they show you how to make it. You can make it with them, and then you can taste how delicious it is. And they serve it with fresh Bulgarian yogurt. And this is one of the only cruises also where we go in the local families' homes, and some of them do not even speak English. So you will see how nice the interaction truly is when they bring an instrument and they try to play the mandolin for you, and they try to communicate without knowing your language. It will be something that will touch your heart. We also will visit the Belgratic Fortress that is located in a very unusual rock formation region. For about 13 miles, you have these unique rock formations, and with a little bit of imagination, you can see different animals, Madonna and the Child in different rocks, and the guides will take you on this imaginary journey. The fortress was built again in Roman times, again fortificated in medieval times. And through these stairs, you can go all the way to the top to have beautiful along the valley and the beautiful rock formations. I also want to make a parenthesis here and talk a little bit about the wines in Eastern Europe. These are wines that we do not export. These are wines that you may not find in your markets here in North America. So it will be such a fantastic trip to try the Hungarian wines that are known especially for the Tokaj. That's a wine of a very high quality that sometimes even beats some of the Bordeaux wines in wine competitions. You will go to Croatia, where you will try some of the older wines and some of the newer wines. We do have very good soil for having Merlot grapes, as well as Gewürztraminer. We have a lot of very good dessert wines, all the way to ice wines in the region of Eastern Europe. And we will serve them on board. You will have the wines of the regions that you are cruising through. And really free-flowing wine. So on our ships, when you don't want any more wine, you have to cover your glass. Otherwise, they keep on pouring. And yes, that's how it goes. And you besides the wines, we are also known for our palinka. Yes, our strong plum brandy in this region. So you're gonna visit medieval castle or the Bulgarian family, and they're gonna give you a little schnapps, a little taste of the palinka. I would not suggest that you ask for seconds, because that is not a wine. So it's something strong and something that we drink as an aperitif in at our meals in Europe. This is the Babavida Fortress that I mentioned, where we have the medieval show. And then we will have a very unique trip to Veliko Tournovo, the ancient capital of Bulgaria, where the Tsars used to live. So the kings of the Bulgarian Empire used to live in this beautiful capital with homes built on terraces, just like almost in Italy, absolutely majestic architectural style in this beautiful town. And we will visit the fortress. You see here the entrance gate, and the fortress is somewhere behind the church. And then also you will learn some other things that are produced in Bulgaria, because you want to bring home some souvenirs. And I think many of you will love the traditional blouses that you can bring for your granddaughters that may not join you on the cruise, or your daughters-in-law, and they will really appreciate that. I also wanted to show you today a traditional tablecloth from this region. So you can see another type of souvenir that you can bring home and will make your home very pretty and bring memories of your trip. And Bulgaria is also known for the rose perfume. They produce most of the rose perfume for the perfume industry. And they also produce lavender perfume. So you can buy the real essence on your trip to Bulgaria. In Ruse, they are known for the leather production. So if you love leather shoes, leather bags, you may want to take a walk through this town. This is just a picture to show you what the communist buildings look like in some of our towns in Eastern Europe. And after the cruise ends and you disembark after the 7-night days on board, where you will be so spoiled and treated like a queen, just like it happened to me last week in Provence. Everything felt so normal. It almost felt like a cruise in 2019, with the exception that we needed to show our vaccination card when we enter specific museums, dining locations, or wine venues. Other than that, except of showing the vaccination card, we still had to wear the masks when we moved around the ship, not in the lounge or in the restaurant. But other than that, it felt so normal, so relaxing, so beautiful. I was so happy to be there. And I think you're going to love the cruise to Provence very, very much this December. My most favorite excursion was actually Carrière de Lumière, where you see the art of Cézanne this year on the walls of a medieval cave, and the light and the music, they really create a very special emotional atmosphere you will truly enjoy. You will never forget that. So now I will take you a little bit through Romania. On the way to Transylvania, we will stop at this beautiful neo-Renaissance castle built at the end of 1800 by the Romanian royal family that came from Germany. They really brought the best architects from Italy, and this was the first illuminated castle in Europe. It was the first one that had air conditioning, so very up to date at that time. And it's really a piece of jewel in the Carpathian Mountains, beautiful surroundings. It's really one of our jewels in Transylvania, and you're going to enjoy a lot of Cordoba walls inside the castle, a lot of art items, and it's really, really, to me, one of the most beautiful castles of Europe. After we visit the Palace Castle, we continue to my hometown, the city of Brașov, in the center of Romania. You see how beautifully laid out this city is. All the streets are actually coming to the town, to the city center, to the main square. And this picture doesn't really show the locals, but I have to tell you, no matter what time of the day you are here, that's where you meet all your friends, all your family. That's where life is happening in the city. You see in the background a black church. It's the only Gothic church in Romania. Transylvania had a lot of German population under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And this church has one of the largest organs inside of a church in Eastern Europe, and also a very unique Anatolic Ottoman carpet collection from the 18th century. About 400 of them are laid out inside the church, and you will see them during the city tour. Brașov is also known for pastries. We have a lot of pastry shops. Every other door there is basically a pastry shop. So when you are there, I highly recommend a nice traditional breakfast. We do serve the pastries, the fresh croissants and fresh baguettes with either the sour milk. How do we call the sour milk, Marcy?
Sour cream?
Sour cream, or also with yogurts.
Okay.
Thank you. So you will have a wonderful time here. And from there, we will take an excursion to Sigisura. Sigisura is the most well-preserved European, the most well-preserved Romanian town, medieval town of Romania. I always feel like a painter came and chose the best pastel colors for these beautiful facades. It's a town where I never want to sleep when I am there. And next to the church where you have dolls coming to dance at every hour of the day, you also have the house where Vlad the Impaler was born. So he was born in Sigisura. And the next picture will show you the Bran Castle, I think, where we will visit the castle that is known as Dracula's castle. Or may have not been in this castle, we don't know for sure, but I have to tell you, on cloudy days, there is a little bit of mystery going around this castle. Queen Maria, who was the queen of the Romanians, and she came from the Hohenzollern family, she truly loved this region. She has a wonderful art collection and personal collection, item collection exhibit inside the castle. She loved the castle so much that she wanted her heart to be buried in the hill across the castle. So in the diamond box, that's where her heart is, and she still wants to think about this beautiful place of Romania. The villages around are absolutely gorgeous, so the drive is very, very scenic through the Carpathian Mountains. We always think about the food. Food plays a very important role in our life. I was just talking to some of the French guides who were saying about their Sunday tradition, and I said, your Sunday tradition is just like in Eastern Europe. Sunday tradition is that all the families meet at the grandparents' house, and grandma is cooking either some cheese pies, wonderful soup, meat soup most of the time, or tripe soup. They always make a wonderful dessert. Here on the left, it's our donuts that are made with cottage cheese and sour cream and cherry jelly on top. A little bit more more heavy than our regular donuts here, but extremely delicious. And you are on vacation, so no one counts the calories. And and our tradition is always to spend 5 hours around the lunch table that changes into dinner table through the hours, and keep on eating and talking about the stories of the week. And no visit to Romania is final without visiting the capital, Bucharest, which was considered the Paris of the East between the two world wars. The city was very modern. A lot of architectural style reminds you of Paris. So that's why we were called the Paris of the East. And the lifestyle in Romania was really a high-end lifestyle in Bucharest. And then the communists came, and the parts of the cities have changed. What you will enjoy is to see the old and new all together, to see the beautiful young people, most of them speaking English and being very open-minded, and a very, very vibrant city. Our dictator left us with a building that you will see in the next image. It's the Parliament building. It's the second largest administrative building in the world after the Pentagon. It has over 1,000 rooms. All the rooms look like little palaces inside, with incredible style and lots of gold, amazing chandeliers. The chandeliers and the carpets have to be put inside this building before the roof could be put on top. That's how it was built. So quite impressive. And you will visit the Parliament Palace during the city tour. So I can't wait for you to experience every river cruise that Mark selected so well for all of you. He really selects the most wonderful itineraries, and we really appreciate everything that he does. And I'm so happy that Marcy and Mark will be together on board this year.
Yes, thank you, Angie. We appreciate you so much. Oh my gosh, it just makes me want to be there for I just don't want to go one time. I want to just stay on board for like 3 weeks and get to see everything 2 or 3 times. But thank you so much for all of your beautiful information and for being such a special speaker for us today and taking us through your region, your land, and your home. Mark, would you like to say some words?
Yeah, obviously, I think this was just a phenomenal presentation on a part of the world a lot of people have not been to, and I so strongly recommend you to consider this as an opportunity that I think you will create memories that will last a lifetime. Every time, I think I've been through this maybe now 3 times, 2 or 3 times at least, and Angie, you bring such life to this. I think, Marcy, we need to figure out a way to get Angie to go with us. Maybe we could make her cruise director, Marcy. I tried to give her that title earlier. Maybe I'll give her that title, but I got to tell you this. Oh my gosh, I'm very hungry right now after showing all that. But I didn't know anything about that part of Eastern Europe, which is what's so exciting about travel. Travel not only is such a cultural experience, not only is it a historic experience. There's scenery. It looks like that's one of the most mountainous, beautiful areas, you know, maybe in all of Europe. That part I think is just going to be breathtaking. But it's literally the learning about different places and learning the history, learning the cultures. I think going into the people's homes there, Angie, is you know, more and more people are excited about that cultural experience. And I just encourage you to go with us, because Marcy, I'd like to ask you this question. Everything that we hear, I see in our business on a daily basis. We've had better business as far as bookings go in the last 4 months than we did all the way back in 2019 for the same equivalent months, which tells you how popular and what the kind of pent-up demand is. But there's no doubt about it. People want to go to places like Europe and go to places maybe they haven't seen before. And I think availability is going to be a real issue, Marcy. I know you're telling us that all the time, which is why we're holding a lot of these group spaces, and we're guaranteeing them so our price will stay the same, because as availability goes down, the prices go up. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot in the very near future. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that, Mark. You know, remembering that because 2020 we had to suspend sailings due to the pandemic, everybody that was booked in 2020 then had to move somewhere else. So many of them moved to this year, but many of them moved to 2022 and 2023. So it is the one thing I think that is so important when we vacation is the experience, the overall experience. We want to make sure that the guest gets the type of accommodations they're looking for, that gets exactly something that will totally exceed their expectation. And in order to do that, you need to book further out. The ships are small, the demand is huge. We've had record-setting weeks, as you said, over the past 4 months, many of them. And these are new bookings coming in too, not just reaccommodating, but we have a lot of new bookings coming in because, to be very honest, it's very attractive to go to the river because the ships are much smaller. And I have to say, I think a big part of it that warms my heart is the history. The history, the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the things that you see nowhere else in the world that Europe has to offer you, whether you're on the Danube, whether you're on the Rhone, in France, no matter the river. So we're seeing a big demand for that. We're also seeing a lot of families that haven't seen each other in quite some time saying, you know what, let's not just stay home and visit. Let's go on a vacation together. And it's the perfect scenario. It's hassle-free, 5-star beautiful luxury. You're taken care of from morning until night. So mom gets the days off. everybody gets to go do their own thing and really gets to enjoy, and then even reunite at dinner and talk about the wonderful experiences if they did different things for the day. And those tours are all included. So everybody can pick and choose, and it can really fit whatever everybody wants to do. So there's something for everyone.
Yes, indeed. Marcy is so right. And another trend that we have seen lately is the fact that everybody pretty much wants to regain the time lost last year when we couldn't cruise and we couldn't go anywhere in the world. And right now we have a lot of requests when our guests say, we don't wish to do only 1 week. We want to go for 3 weeks at a time. And there's no one better than Mark to put things together for you and make this journey even longer than what it really is. We can bring you from one ship to the other, so you can see different regions on just one flight ticket to Europe.
Yes.
So that's another trend of our travel industry nowadays.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and that's one of the reasons why I put that Douro River in Portugal one to back up to this one. So my gosh, for the people that want to see two different parts of the world, Eastern Europe and then Portugal and Spain, you can do that back to back again with, in essence, one international air flight going, one international air flight coming, as far as over the pond anyway. But I would encourage you to give us a call. That's our number right there, 505-1500, or you can check us out online down below to see anything, to learn all about the hosted trips that I have with AmaWaterways throughout this year still and 2022. You are wise to think ahead. There are all these book with confidence programs that vendors like AmaWaterways have, and almost all of the vendors out there do. We can help you with cancel for any reason insurance. So we'll be able to answer any question you have. And it's people like Angie, where we get a lot of our information from, where Angie just got back from the Rhone River. Before this webinar started, we were talking to Angie about all the things that were needed for that health pass in France, and we'll be able to help you with all those. So it's really, really important that you make your decisions based on the proper information out there, and be careful what you read. You need to talk to the source. You need to talk to somebody like us that has firsthand experience and also has contacts like Angie and like Marcy that can tell us exactly what's going on. Gosh, Marcy, I think you've had Rudy and Christine and half of your executive team have all been on cruises. Somebody in your staff just got back from Bordeaux and was telling us about that. I think Samantha Brown, right? You had Samantha Brown on that Bordeaux trip. And I think that's really good, because so many questions about what do I need to get into a country without getting in trouble. And that's what we do. We will make it easy and simple so you don't have to worry. Let us be your designated worrier, okay? We'll help you go and have a vacation of a lifetime. And that's what AmaWaterways delivers, truly, memories that last a lifetime. So we're here to help you. Give us a call anytime. Check us out online, cruiseholidayskc.com. Marcy and Angie, thank you so much. Gosh, that was fun. I feel like getting on the river right now.
I'm ready, I'll tell you.
And I'll get some of those pastries too, by the way. Wow, did those look good. Woo! Okay, hey, thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you watching today. Any of you who have friends or family that want the link to this webinar, we can send that out to you too. Just let us know that, okay? Thanks,
Mark,
everybody.
I wanted to also say, don't forget that if you're just tired of being at home, Mark still has a couple of departures for this year, but I know space is limited, and I will say that one on the Rhone, space is very limited because we have quite a few people already signed up to do that.
We do 40 people, and that's a Christmas markets trip, and which is going to be fun in itself. And you have offered us such a special deal. I can't tell you about it on the webinar. You have to call us, and we'll tell you about the deal we have for you. But it's tremendous. And Mimi and I will both be hosting that. And I think, Marcy, you're going to go on that one too.
I am. I'm very excited. Yes.
Well, that'll be fun. I look forward to that. Bordeaux here in 45 days for me, and 52 different friends that are going, and new friends that I'll make. And And then in December 2nd through the 9th, that Rhone River cruise that Mimi and I are doing with Marcy too. That's southern France. That's such a beautiful area of the whole world, but such a beautiful area of France. Okay, everybody, I got to run. Take care of yourself. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mark. Thank you, Marcy.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye.